It is strawberry season. I'm so excited. We went to Costco yesterday and they had the Plant City strawberries. They are gorgeous and they are some of the sweetest strawberries you will ever eat in your life. And I'm so excited to share with you a strawberry sourdough biscuit recipe. You want to know how it's done? Stick around. Now, I originally saw this recipe from somebody here on this platform, and it was a beautiful recipe. Looks delicious. Unfortunately, the type of recipe it is basically how I used to cook. And it is also made with ingredients that are pretty much at the root cause of what we're dealing with here as a metabolic crisis. And so when I see recipes that look delicious, I don't want to deprive myself, but I do want to find ways that is going to create the same delicious recipe, but with healthier ingredients and healthier options, reduced sugar, things like that, that are going to still bring us those yummy recipes that we love to have, especially when, you know, you have these fresh strawberries in season, or you're having a meal over with the family and you just want to have a nice dessert, or you want to have something that feels like you're being naughty, but we want to find ways that we can make them and enjoy them without all of those other things that cause those problems. So I'm a holistic practitioner, board certified, and I help people figure out why their body is so inflamed, why they're in a bad mood, why they can't sleep, why their hormones are all over the place, why their inflammation is raging. And so it all begins with food. It always begins with the fork. And so the more we can learn about that kind of stuff, the more we can help the body do what it was created to do, and that's to heal. One of those things that is the most important to swap out is your sweetener. And so I am not a fan of artificial sweetener, but I reduce sugar wherever I can. And I also buy organic sugar. Organic sugar is made from organic sugar cane, and it has not been sprayed with Roundup, glyphosate, which shows up in all of my clients' wellness scans. And so the original recipe called for 1 cup of sugar. We're not doing that. We're gonna do basically 2 rounded tablespoons. That's right, 2 rounded tablespoons instead of a whole cup. These strawberries are sweet. You do not have to over sweeten them with sugar. Now, if you don't do sugar and you want to do something else, monk fruit, coconut sugar, something that is a healthy replacement, you do you. But when you add your sweetener to these fresh cut strawberries, it will help the strawberries to release their juices, and it'll make its own kind of a syrup. And so I just stirred this together, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for about an hour and let it do its thing. And then we'll go to the next step. Hey, so I have gotten those strawberries out of the refrigerator, and you can see kind of the syrup it's made from the couple of tablespoons of sugar that we put over it. So now I'm ready to assemble the strawberry biscuits. So I'm going to take some softened butter and the largest cast iron skillet that I have, and I'm just going to butter the bottom of this. All right, so this is buttered, and I'm going to take half of those chopped strawberries in whatever juice, and I'm going to put them into this skillet, and I'm going to let the juice kind of run off of it. The other half we're going to be folding into the liquid mixture for the biscuits, and so I really want the liquid to end up in the bottom of the pan instead of in the biscuit dough. Hope that makes sense. Okay, we're going to do our wet ingredients first, and then we're going to do our dry ingredients, and we'll combine them. So in here I have 3/4 of a cup of whole buttermilk, a tablespoon of honey, and I'm going to add the active sourdough starter. You could also do this with sourdough discard if you would like, but I had active, and that's what I'm going to use. And so we're going in with 113 grams of sourdough starter, or it's a half a cup. So here we go. This is just going to give it that tang that you get with sourdough, and it's going to help to break down the structures in the flour and make it a little bit more gut healthy. We're not fermenting this, but the fermentation in here is going to help combine with the flour that we're using. Okay. Now to this liquid, we're gonna add the other half of the chopped strawberries. Look how thick that is. That's because of the sourdough starter. So when we get all of that blended together, it looks like a thick batter, like a pancake batter, okay? So we're gonna fold in the strawberries into this mixture, just the rest of those that you didn't put into the skillet. So now all of our liquid ingredients are combined. Now let's do the drying. Okay, in this bowl I have 270 grams of all-purpose organic flour. I buy mine at Costco, and I love the Kirkland brand. 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of baking powder. And if you haven't checked your baking powder, you might want to, because most of the baking powder on the market has been added. They add aluminum to it. I don't know why, but I don't want aluminum in my food. In fact, I don't want it in anything. It ends up in your brain. Do your research, okay? So you have to shop for a baking powder that doesn't have aluminum in it. It's just another one of those things that we do when we're swapping out the poisons in our pantry for the more health-giving ingredients of what we're doing. So I'm just gonna combine the salt and the baking powder in with the flour as my dry ingredients. A whole stick of butter. Now, different people do different things. I've seen people chop it up in little cubes. I like to just grate mine. It goes really fast. It makes the butter into little bits, and what we're doing is we're combining the butter in with the flour. And we're just gonna use our hands and get it all incorporated in there before we put the wet ingredients in it. You see how fast that goes? Just a whole stick of butter grated into the dry ingredients. Again, butter is organic. If you can find it in your area, great. If you can buy local from A2 cows, somebody's made the butter, even better. This way you have little bits of butter baking all throughout the biscuit. It's a good thing. So the wet ingredients, again, that's buttermilk, sourdough starter, honey, and the strawberries. Clearly, if you wanted to make this with another fruit, you absolutely can. Do whatever you like. Strawberries are coming into season. It's what we're making right now, and it's absolutely delicious. We're just trying to live better by making better choices. I don't know if you know my story, but in 2012, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and handed a stack of prescriptions. I said no. Both of my siblings have had addictions to medications, and I didn't want to go that route. So I started with my food, taking out foods that cause inflammation, learning how to label read, learning all the things that was wrong with our food, and replacing it with healthy stuff. That was 2012. So here we are almost 14 years later. I no longer have fibromyalgia symptoms. We eat very well. Our metabolism is good, and we enjoy life, okay? So this came together in a dough. I'm just gonna kind of grab a little, like as if you were doing drop biscuits, okay? Just grab some dough, mash it out a little bit, and then you're gonna take it and you're gonna put it on top of your strawberries that you put in your buttered skillet. Now, if you don't have a skillet like this, that's fine. Use a big casserole pan. I would probably, the 9x13, it may bubble over. So if you have this size just up from the 9x13, go with that one, because this does make a lot, and the strawberries in the bottom kind of bubble up into this syrupy, like cobbler consistency on the bottom, and it could bubble up and make a mess in your oven. You might want to just throw a cookie sheet in the bottom just in case. Okay, messy looking, but that's okay. It's all going to do what it needs to do. It's going to be beautiful and delicious. It's going to the oven, 425 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. Okay, it's still really hot, but I can't wait. We're going to get into it. All right, let's look at what it looks like. So good.